Whew. Wow, we have a special treat today, folks. A really special one. I am walking one of the most dangerous streets in all of New Hampshire. Or at least it was one of the most dangerous areas 35 years ago. And let me explain to you why. There were a bunch of hooligans that roamed these streets. This right here was a bus stop. You might not know it. Looking at it, seems quiet enough. But this was a bus stop. And on one occasion, this stop sign right here, instead of being vertical, was completely horizontal because of a crazy driver who leveled the thing on their way home. Imagine if there were kids right here when that happened. Thankfully, it was on the weekend. On the same street, there was a ring. We'll call it a crime syndicate, if you will. Intentionally or unintentionally, who roamed the streets with a little red wagon. You guys might think I'm crazy, but I knew these people personally. They had a little red wagon, and what they did is, this syndicate would go over to people's houses, like right here. They'd pick their flowers, put the flowers into their wagon, and carry on down the street, like we're doing right now. I would say we have a witness to this right here that's coming near me. Hey, kitty. Hi. Hi. Hold on, we have to take a moment before I tell you a story. Hi. What's up? Hi, cutie. Hey. Do you know of these boys? Do you? No, you don't? Okay, I gotta go. So, anyway, what these people would do is, they're kids. You know, crime starts young when you're 7. But they would go to the next house and they'd sell them the flowers that they just picked from the other yard. And, well, lo and behold, after a string of, I think, 7 houses, someone caught on because these criminals got cocky. And they picked the flowers in front of the house, directly in front of the house, and tried to sell those to the people. Yes, talk about a horrendous crime. Nice houses. See, this was a safe neighborhood, or at least many thought it was a safe neighborhood. But, you know, like all neighborhoods, at least in New Hampshire 35 years ago, things would happen that made you think otherwise. I mean, this was a community, even a few years ago, where people would not lock their doors. You'd feel safe to just not lock them, even at night. What I'm looking for right now, so I could show you, but I haven't been able to find it. I don't know if they paved over it or if there's a different marking. But years ago, when this crime syndicate was out doing their deeds, they did probably the most destructive thing you could think of, and that is they went around the neighborhood, and I'm pretty sure they filled it up, or they extended the road. But what there was is there were storm drains, okay? There were a series of storm drains, and these group of people, what they did is they're all gone. I don't know what happened to them. Well, imagine a storm drain for yourself, and there should have been one right around here. But I don't know what happened to it. So we're just going to walk, and I'll tell you the story. So these storm drains, what these people did is, well, these kids, they lifted up each of the drains, and then they threw them down into the holes, into the drainage holes, which caused a serious situation because if other people were not paying attention, it was pretty much a guarantee that they could fall in and they could hurt themselves. And I know it was pretty costly because the neighborhood parents had to come around and they had to recover all of these drain grates, or I think they actually had to pay for one. But thankfully, the riffraff that lived in this neighborhood moved away about 30 years ago. I should know because I was one of those riffraff. But I know. Would you think this was a real story? Well, I mean, technically it is real, but I wanted to give us a different account of the news, because in every neighborhood where people grow up, stuff happens that you might not even know about. And here we had flowers, we had destruction of property, we had, didn't even mention this, on my very own driveway, that same little red wagon was involved with a couple cans of paint. And if you followed closely, there was a line across all the trees about, 3 feet high, because my brother and I thought it would be fun to paint all of the trees. Until we got caught, of course. So, more recent stories since we moved away. And this is one just kind of shows the state of New Hampshire, of my part of New Hampshire anyway, is this was in the newspaper, actually. I'll see if I can find the link. If not, you'll just have to take my word for it. But our next-door neighbors, the Clarks, at least they were the Clarks when I was growing up, they had some ducks. That's right, birds, ducks, pet ducks. I didn't realize you could have pet ducks, but they did. Anyway, in the newspaper stated that there was a crime here, a hideous crime. And do you know what that was? The ducks disappeared. Now, I don't know about you, but in my own opinion, maybe the ducks just flew away. They do fly, right? But in this case, I don't know. I know that they had a reporter come. Clearly, I saw the story. And they were searching for them. I never got a resolution to the story, so I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if there was a random thief in this bucolic neighborhood who showed up and decided to take a family of ducks, or maybe if they just got sick of the area and just left. Now that's a real story. And it's also completely different than other news stories that I've been covering. It's your small town stories. So for my people that like to comment on stuff, do you have any stories like that? Where your local news covered some of the animals disappearing? Anyone? Oh, and the trees that were painted, they were right over there. So, all right, well, I think that's it for the news today. I just thought we would, do something different here in my hometown and share with you some real stuff. So, again, put some comments in there, guys. What do you remember from you growing up? What were some funny things that might not have been mentioned on the news, on the real news, that happened in your neighborhood that should make the news or would have made the news today in 2023? I mean, come on. If your sibling drove over the stop sign and leveled it, don't you think that should make the news? I know it should. I know that it should, but it didn't in this case. All right, guys. Till next time. Peace.